Yo, what's poppin'? It's Tommathan, and we have some Overwatch League news to talk about, starting with the New York Excelsior, absolutely determined to have a marginalized gender roster. Everyone said it was awful. Everybody, there's not a single person who said this is a good idea. If they want to help out marginalized gendered people, they had 10 bajillion options. Legitimately, 10 bajillion options. Support a Calling All Heroes team, a Contenders team, do whatever you want like that. Would have been fine. But no, they're determined. They need to get this done. They want their advertising money. They want to literally sell that. They want to sell them, use them as a marketing piece. Aspen says it here. Liz says it here. It's going to be a half marginalized gendered roster. Half. Because they probably couldn't find enough people who were like, yup, I'll sign in on that. Like brain dead stuff. And the reason is, yes, they want to just capitalize on marketing and advertisements and get sponsors and things like that. But even if they, like, the thing that's crazy is they went so overboard because they reasonably could have done this without fully revealing that they were doing this, right? If they simply just offered Aspen a spot, you get the support of Aspen because she is very good and could probably compete at an Overwatch League level, right? And you'd still get a ton of support. Oh, yeah, Aspen's in the league. Let's go. And then New York would get a bunch of brand deals like that. But no, they went all out. They are going full. They're full sending it. And it's like, it's too late now. Your intentions are revealed. Nobody wants to play with you. Aspen's not going to sign with them. Like, even if they just did that and they reeled it back a little bit, it could have been great. But it's just so, I don't know if conceit is the word. I don't know what the word is, but it is fucked up. It's fucked up, and they're putting these players in an awful situation. And they're going to profit off it, and the players' careers are going to probably suffer from it, to be honest. So, but they're determined. It's going to happen. New York, full force in it, just gone. I don't know what else to say. It's been said. It's been said. Anyone with the brain can see this is awful. Or just like a horrible idea. I don't know. Talking about something a bit better now. The Shanghai Dragons have re-signed head coach Moon. One of the best coaches in Overwatch League. He's spectacular. Consistently well-regarded. He knows how to do things correctly. Right? He knows like how to play Overwatch at the highest level. Now, you could argue there are some issues whenever your team can't do that. Like this season, there were times where maybe he wasn't playing to Shanghai strength. He was playing to the peak Overwatch team strength, which wasn't Shanghai at the time. So you can say, oh, well, maybe he isn't that guy for playing to your team strength, but he's really good at playing to Overwatch's strength. He knows what he thinks is best for the meta. That being said, he did eventually do some Wrecking Ball stuff that Fate was good at and things like that, but the way he handled Fleta and Who Are You, I think there was some question mark on how well he can actually use this rebuilding roster, but I do believe he can figure it out. I think he'll figure it out, and I think he'll still be great. But maybe some rough patches at the beginning. On Weibo, he came out and said that he's quite happy, and he had no concerns or hesitation. Next season, we will fight along with young and passionate players who are willing to devote themselves to the team. Seems like a lot of rookies. No one's really surprised by that, but it's good we have some confirmation. I don't know who we'll see. There's a lot of good rookies to come out of Contenders Korea. Top Dragon, 2U, not 2U. 2U's not really a rookie because he played with Seoul. But you got Lee Soo-min going. Alien could go. The list goes on, right? The list goes on with a ton of talent. And I'm sure Coach Moon will scout out the right ones he likes, and he'll make them look really good. So even though Shanghai maybe going a bit budget, maybe have a lot of rookies, the fact that they have Moon makes me much, much more confident in this team than if they didn't, 100%. So great stuff here. Now I'm going to talk about a couple of leaks that from Leak Mafia, and then I'm going to talk about the Philadelphia Fusion, also known as the Seoul Infernal after. So the leaks, first up, Shock Junbin extremely likely, and if it wasn't likely, it would have been horrible. If Shock actually went through and with not having Junbin, it would have blown my mind. He needs to be on that roster. He's so good. He is so good. Definitely the most hyped tank to come out of Contenders this season. Most hyped rookie, I would say. I'm more hyped for Junbin than anyone else because I think he's going to perform at such a high level. He's so good at his main tanks. And him and Max together will make an unstoppable tank force. that there are no bad metas for them. Unless like some new character comes out and neither of them can figure it out. But I highly doubt that happens. Jumbin and Max, extremely talented. I'm very excited for Jumbin. This needed to happen. 100% needed to happen. Or else I was not going to rate Shock as highly as most people. People are like, wow, this roster's insane. I'm like, but where's Jumbin? But where's Jumbin? I'm not trusting Max all the way on Jumbin characters. Just get Jumbin. You got it. The league blessed you with Jumbin this season. You take it. You take it 100%. Other things, they are confirming Lethal and Sky Reaper to London. Lethal is a hit scam player playing with Redbird Esports right now. He is very good. It does make me a bit concerned that, probably no Sparkle, maybe, because now you're picking up Lethal. So is Sparkle actually going to be there? Who knows? But Lethal's very good. Definitely deserves a shot in the league, 100%. And then Sky Reaper, I think he is fine as your third option. You don't want to be playing Admiral on anything that isn't Lucio or Brig, I guess. So Sky Reaper as your third support, probably a good cheap option. I'll take it. I think it's good. You don't want to have Bone back on the Zen, you don't want that. And Sky Reaper, no, he wasn't, exceptional, but no one on that Vancouver team was. So I think he'll be able to shine in this kind of format that London have, the team camaraderie stuff, things like that. The system's good, the teams are good, the players trust each other. Makes Sky Reaper look really good. Now, Washington Justice. The rumored roster, Leak Mafia said, was Ben Best, Vestola, Alfie, Fitz, Iris, and FD God, with that Vestola potentially being Mirror. And this is a pretty interesting roster, I must say. If it is Mirror, which I think would be better than Vestola, probably. I don't really like either of them, to be honest. But whatever. It's an interesting roster. Looking at the backline, because you can confirm the backline, Iris FD God, Iris is pretty good still. Like, yeah, his Kiriko was tragic in the playoffs. But definitely better than anyone else you could get, probably, right? He has the talent. We've seen the talent before on Atlanta. Houston, maybe a bit quieter. Seoul, a bit quieter, I would say. But the potential for Iris is undeniable. And I think that if you're trying to play for a good potential roster, Iris is a great pickup. FD God, another player that has a lot of potential on that Lucio. We know the FD God stuff. He went crazy on Paris. He goes over to Shock. Feed God might have happened, right? But whenever he was on Paris, he was pretty good. So I don't think it's gone anywhere. Maybe he just couldn't fit into the Shock system. Who knows what happened that time? But the mechanics are there for FD God. I think he's fun to watch, and I think if you're Washington, you want to have your team to be fun because you've had some pretty poor experiences for your team in the past few years with Decay and all that stuff, not really working out. So if you have a team that's fun to watch, even if you're not necessarily the top of the league, I think that's good. You want a team that's fun to watch, and Iris FD God does do that. And then Alpha E Fitz, very, very consistent DPS line. Alfie, okay, Alfie was consistently very good and then consistently very bad from the first half to the back half. So if he plays that very good level, him and Fitz are a potentially deadly duo. I don't think they're S tier, super elite or anything like that. But they're pretty good. They're pretty solid. Good A tier DPS at the worst, probably, is what you're hoping. Alfie, I guess, could be B tier at worst, or C tier even if he has that awful back half again. But I don't care. I like it. It's good. And then Ben Best, Vestola, or Mirror. Ben Best, I think, is okay to have here. I think he gets more hate and is less well-regarded as he should be. I definitely think he's better than people give him credit for, is what I'm trying to say. But then Mirror or Vestola beside him, neither are particularly stand out to me. Looking at the list, here's the tryout list that was leaked. If I can put it up on the screen down there. We see that there was Belos, Rhea, Tuyu, and FaZe as your tanks, and Tuyu would have been exceptional, I think. But who knows? Maybe he didn't do well in trials. Maybe they just said, no, we won't bother. I really think Tuyu deserves a shot this season, but whatever. DPS, we see Hidden, Verapic, Jerry, and Aid as the hit scans. Looks like they went with neither of them and went with Fitz. Sure. This isn't everyone, obviously. Just some interesting names to look at. DPS, you have Alfie, Nice, Becky, and Illicit. I definitely like Alfie in this for sure as the best one there. Becky would have been really fun. I think Becky would have been fantastic. If you want to have a fun roster, should be there. Lots of ups and downs with Becky. Love-hate relationship, but pretty good. And the flex support, Lee Soo-min, Irony, Aki. I don't know anyone about Aki, to be honest with you, but Lee Soo-min, I am extremely hyped for, and I think he should be in the league on some team, but I can't really argue picking Iris over him. I think that's very valid. And then your main supports are Lego, Unique, and Fixa. FD God is kind of valid. Unique and Fixa don't really stand out to me. Lego's interesting, but I think if you wanted Lego, you're probably going to take Lee Soo-min as well. I think they were probably thinking, oh, well, if we choose Lee Soo-min, we'll just take Lego. But because you don't, there's no reason to take him. I think FD God's okay. It's interesting, at least. At the very least, it's interesting. So, passing up onto Lee Soo-min, maybe questionable, but also Iris. I don't know. I'm concerned about the off-tank position. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm concerned about the off-tank position. And now, enough about Washington. Let's talk about Philly. Philly are moving to Seoul. They're rebranding to the Seoul Infernal. And they're relocating fully to South Korea. You can look in their little thing on the screen, the link there. They talk more in depth about it. It's because Comcast co-owns T1. And T1 is based in South Korea. So if they're already based in Korea, they think it makes sense to relocate over there fully, to rebase themselves over there, because it will be best for the team in the long run. And I can't say that's wrong. I can't say that I fault their logic at all. It does make sense if you're co-owning T1 and T1 has stuff to do with the organization on the Overwatch League side. It does make sense to fully go to South Korea. That being said, Philly had some crazy fans. Like, this is a team that the fan base was loud. The fan base was passionate. The Philly memes, all that stuff was huge. And to just pass that up feels a bit wrong. I'm going to be honest. Like, I did not see Philly relocating at all. Not even a little bit. This team, there was so much behind it, you know? The history with Carpe and the second places, everything like that. And there are going to be a lot of fans that won't follow them to Seoul. They'll be like, no, I'm not going to be a Seoul Infernal fan. I was a Fusion fan. You're not the Fusion anymore. And they won't support them. And they will lose fans. They'll gain some fans because Seoul is huge, you know? Korea, huge in esports. So they will gain fans. But I think, at least right now, this feels like a net negative to me. Because you don't have to rebrand off of Philadelphia to be based in Seoul. Like, you don't really have to. They've been in Seoul since 2020 for COVID, all that stuff. I don't know if it was necessary. And then maybe they could say, oh, well, we were never going to relocate to Philly, I guess. But I think you should have catered to your fan base because they were so passionate, is what I think. And you should have said, you know what, maybe it would be better for us or make more sense logistically to go to Seoul. But the fans is what makes the whole team work, right? So, I don't know. Logistically and from a business standpoint, it probably made sense to go to Seoul, especially financially and all that stuff. But I think they should have made it work somehow. That's just me. We do have what the logo looks like, which I'll put on the screen now. It is a pretty nice logo, I think. I'm a fan of it. People are comparing to the Vancouver logo, sure, but like it's just a face and they're different faces. One's a Yeti. This is like a demon Jin thing. I don't know what you want to call it. There's some word specifically, but it looks pretty cool. It reminds me of the Genji skin. I forget what that Genji skin's called. Oni? Maybe it's an Oni or something. Yeah, it's a cool name. It's a cool logo. I like the colors. I like the red and the like brown kind of thing. It reminds me of the Contenders team. I think it's Cryex. It has like the exact same color scheme and like a face like this. Reminds me of that. I thought it was that logo when I first saw it, and I was like, oh. But it's a cool logo. More red. You're losing orange. We already have some red teams, so I don't know. I like the Philly colors because they were kind of original, but I guess they were kind of close to Chengdu, so whatever. It's not like we're losing colors. We're gaining colors with this cool little brown thing. So I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's also sad. It's both. Mostly sad for me. But whatever. I guess the Philadelphia Fusion started and ended with Carpe and started and ended with no wins. That's the history of the franchise. They got nothing. But yeah, okay. Let me know if you like this video. Subscribe, all that stuff. Have yourself a good one, and deuces.